it is my pleasure to pass the floor to our distinguished keynote speaker, Minister Chris Elmore, MP, Parliamentary Under Secretary of Foreign, Commonwealth and Development Office. Minister Elmore, please, the floor is yours.
Good morning. I've just commented, I think it's the first time I've ever addressed a lecture theatre, so this is a new one off my tick list. It really is really great to be with you all this morning. And let me start by thanking the four organisations that have brought us together: the Foreign Policy Centre, the Justice for Journalists Foundation, the International Bar Association's Human Rights Institute, and of course our host, City St George's University. We gather at a moment when the world is getting increasingly more volatile. Authoritarian governments are getting bolder, technology is racing ahead, and conflicts are becoming harder and more complex. And right through all of this, control of information and who shapes it, who twists it, and who has access to it has become one of the big strategic battlegrounds of our age. In that fight, independent journalism has never mattered more. It remains one of the strongest defences a democracy has. It allows people to make informed choices. It holds leaders to account. It exposes corruption and illicit finance, and it helps keep us safe by countering foreign information manipulation. As the Moldovan President, Maia Sandu, said, peace cannot survive without information integrity, and democracies cannot survive without those who protect it. Yet, despite the vital role of journalism today, the profession has never been more at risk. So first, I want to talk about the reality that journalists currently face. Across continents, media freedom is under attack. Journalists are being harassed, detained, exiled, and in too many cases, killed. Independent outlets are being squeezed by censorship, legal threats, and financial pressure. And all of this is happening in an environment increasingly polluted by disinformation on an industrial scale. That flood of falsehood erodes trust and leaves people unsure about what or who to believe. I know that I'm speaking to an audience that needs no convincing of the severity of the situation. You are indeed the experts. You have seen these pressures up close. Some of you have been on the receiving end of them. But I want to begin here because the UK shares your concern. Defending media freedom is one of my core priorities as a minister. So second, let me turn to some examples of what the UK is doing in response. And I want to start with the transnational repression, a threat that is growing as authoritarian regimes try to extend their reach across borders. The UK will not tolerate foreign governments attempting to coerce, intimidate, or harm individuals on our soil. We know Iran continues to pose a threat to dissidents, journalists, and the Jewish community here in the UK. Since 2022, more than 20 plots have been disrupted. 3 Iranian nationals have been charged under the National Security Act. And last year, we announced new measures to protect those Iran is targeting, including journalists based here. We remain deeply concerned too about the way the national security law is being used in Hong Kong. Ministers have raised these issues directly with the Chinese authorities, and we will continue to do so. The safety of Hong Kongers in the UK is of the utmost importance. Meanwhile, across the UK, new guidance on state threats is being rolled out to all 45 territorial forces, including to 999 call handlers, so that we can spot early signs of transnational intimidation. We are also deeply aware of the vital role journalists play in conflict. When war breaks out, truth is often the first casualty, but the need for independent reporting becomes even more urgent. That is why the UK joined 28 other countries in calling for Israel to allow independent international journalists into Gaza. And it is why we continue to meet Palestinian journalists to understand what they are facing and how we can support them. Alongside this, we are confronting the escalation of hybrid threats, particularly from Russia. As the Foreign Secretary said in December, we should call this what it is: Russian information warfare. The Kremlin spreads disinformation to distort facts, undermine trust, and weaken democratic institutions. The UK is working with partners to defend against these efforts, to compete with them, and where necessary, to disrupt them. Together with allies, we have sanctioned 38 enablers of Russian information manipulation, and we are acting at home as well. We know that abusive lawsuits excuse me, used to silence journalists, what many now call slaps, have a chilling effect on public interest reporting. They drain money, time and emotional energy. That's why last year we took an important first step with new measures in the Economic Crime and Corporate Transparency Act. But we acknowledge that only addresses part of the problem. We are continuing to consider options for broader reform to tackle slaps in all their forms, and the National Committee for the Safety of Journalists continue to explore non-legislative ways to protect reporters from legal intimidation. New research commissioned last year on journalist safety will also inform our next National Action Plan when it is published later this year. We will continue to work in all these areas, but third, I want to talk about where we go next. A few days ago, on the 1st of March, the UK took on the role of co-chair of the Media Freedom Coalition, which we helped found in 2019. Since then, it has grown into a powerful collective voice for countries committed to media freedom. And as the global tensions rise, that collective voice is needed now more than ever. I am delighted that Finland is our co-chair, and they bring real leadership on media literacy, and you'll hear more from Ambassador Herman on this tomorrow. Together, we want to streamline and strengthen the coalition, make it more effective and efficient, and its work better known internationally. This government wants to continue making the most of the deep expertise. Forgive me, sorry, it's been days and days of talking and the voice is giving way. This government wants to continue making the most of the deep expertise that Media Freedom Coalition has access to, such as the high-level panel of legal experts who work closely with member countries on media legislation, and the consultative network of media organisations and civil society who also offer valuable advice. We want to focus on specific challenges facing women journalists, and we want to confront the global funding crisis that is threatening the survival of independent media around the world. We need new models of sustainability if independent journalism is to survive, with all of us, governments included, playing our part in shaping a viable future. More widely, the UK will continue to play a leading role in advocating for media freedom and free speech across the UN system, the Council of Europe, the OSCE and the Commonwealth. We want to find consensus on these issues, even though this may sometimes seemingly increasingly challenging in the current international context. We will leverage our and our partners' media expertise bilaterally in our missions around the world, and we will continue to champion the UK media. The work the BBC World Service does as an independent, trusted broadcaster is one of the clearest examples of journalism with a global reach and is highly valued by this government. We will work with partners to ensure that AI strengthens rather than undermines our information environment. And above all, we will work differently. We will work in closer collaboration with colleagues across government, with civil society and with other countries and with you, the experts in this room. Because none of us can protect media freedom alone. So let me end by thanking you for everything that you do. This forum brings together some of the leading minds and strongest voices working on media freedom anywhere in the world. And the UK is here to listen to your ideas and to learn from your expertise so that together we can build a world where journalists can do their jobs without fear. Thank you very much.